Whereas a clinical psychologist, would actually have a different relation with the client, and he would, through questioning, promote self-discovery and self-exploration with the kind of solutions that the client is happy to handle. Peter Drucker once said, once was questioned by a client, Doctor, we hired you for so many days, and you are not giving any solution to any of my problems. You are always asking questions. And Drucker said, my job as a consultant is to ask questions and not give solutions. The solutions should come from you. Because if I give the solutions, your people may not be able to operationalize them. And therefore, there are doctors, and we have to see the kind of role and relationship between the two. Difficult times, we are thinking about, cooperation is given. It's taken as given in the sense that client and consultant should cooperate with each other in mutual interest, unlike in self-interest. But is it any different in difficult times? Do consultants see better opportunity if the business is down? The statistics and the studies prove otherwise. The consultancy spending is more when the clients are healthy than when they're sick. Because as in training and other things, the expenditure on consultancy also, takes a backseat when there is a downturn in business. If you really look at, the major chunk of consultancies in recent, say, past decade or so, a lot of it is an M&A activity, because each M&A will typically take a few thousand consulting days of business. ERP, HRD, business process re-engineering, a couple of things. 5 or 6 major activities have taken a big chunk of management consultancy, with which I am relatively more familiar than other types of consultancy. Now, what happens to these in a period of downturn? Some of these developmental activities and other things may take a backseat, and therefore, if the business is down, the consultant's business also can take a nosedive, and one has to actually, focus more on delivering more value for less money, because this is what business expects. And the cooperation, as far as consultancy is concerned, should come mainly from this. Now, there are 3 things which are essential for laying the foundation for a framework of cooperation between the client and the consultants. And I'll briefly mention them, not that you don't know, but I want to emphasize these home rules. First is, trust, confidence, and confidentiality. There has to be a trust, there has to be confidence, mutual confidence, and there has to be a certain amount of confidentiality. When you hire a doctor, when you hire a lawyer, when you hire an accountant, then you have to have a full disclosure. You can't really hide anything, because if you hide, it will be at your cost. And therefore, these 3 things are prerequisites for cooperation between the two. But the second and most important thing is mutual clarity and expectation. Is the client expecting you to provide the solution, or is he expecting you to raise awareness levels so that their managers can actually handle the problems themselves? In other words, is the job of a consultant to give a fish, or is it to give a fishing rod? There are some consultants who believe that I must walk into the company with 1 assignment and walk out with 2. Then because some of the businesses look at their success, or one of the measures of success is repeat business and consistency in relationship over a period of time. Here you have to see, like in the case of failure, you can learn from failure, but you should fail early and learn quickly, and not repeat the same mistake a second time. So a consultant should not be looking at the solutions becoming the problem, and therefore leading to multiplicity assignments. I think this is a danger. The third is the agreement between the two, which is one of the weakest links in Indian context. Most of our contracts are very loose, and most of us in business are known to bargain after the deal is signed. The real negotiations usually start after the business is obtained. This is because we don't really pay attention to the minutest detail, and we don't really begin with the end in mind and look at the implementation issues at the time when we agree to do something. And to me, I think explicit clarity, I think in terms of mutual expectations and obligations is very necessary to avoid any future misunderstanding. And this is one area where both consultants and clients have to devote more attention than what they have done so far in my view. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vaganathan, for a very brief but very, very meaningful presentation. May I now request Mrs.